What's up, everybody? It's Alex Leak and Friends NFL podcast back for another week. I'm your host, Alex Leak. We got Dustin back on the show as always. Dustin, good to have you on.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yo, and we got a great episode. I mean, the playoffs have started. We were so hyped for the playoffs to get here. Way back in June, July, we didn't know if we would ever get to this point. But here we are talking wild card round recap of the 2020 NFL season. You got to be so glad to get to this point, Dustin. Both of our teams were in the playoffs, and we get to watch playoff football in a season that was, unsure that it would even happen at one point.
Yeah, I mean, it was great, man, and, it was great to see some football. And at the same time, this just proves that if you can make it through a pandemic with the league, they can make it through anything. And it was just
Absolutely.
Great to have a season.
Yeah, the Shield is more powerful now than ever. What did you think, looking back on the 2020 regular season, no fans, do you think the NFL did a good job, and did you enjoy the product of the season?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. And honestly, I couldn't even tell the difference between fans or not, but that's just my opinion.
Me too. They did a good job of zooming in on the action and with the fake crowd noise and stuff, and you get lost in the action. You don't really notice if there's no fans. I'm sure the players did, but us fans, it was just football.
Yeah, and this was the highest scoring season, I believe, in many years in the NFL.
Yeah, well,
with points scored.
That's a whole nother conversation, but we'll get into that. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. And so let's get into this wild card round. I did a lot of work on this podcast last week of preparing for the playoffs. We got 3 episodes out. Now we're going to recap the first round of the playoffs this season. We're going to start with Saturday. Your Colts at the Buffalo Bills, a big game. What were your thoughts with the Colts? First of all, week 17, getting into the playoffs, were you worried and just got to be happy to make the playoffs?
I was happy to be in. I mean, I can't lie. I was, had like 3 screens going with different teams, trying to see if Miami loses and then if Cleveland, lost and stuff. But thankfully, we got in, and I was a little nervous of playing the Bills. So, but unfortunately, we ended on the wrong note.
Yeah, let's get into this game. So, with a 10-7 lead in the second quarter, Frank Reich elects to go for it on 4th and goal from the 4-yard line. Incomplete pass, turnover on downs. I would have kicked it and made it 13-7. I know Frank Reich is known for being aggressive all year, ever since he's been a head coach. What do you think of Frank Reich right now after this game?
I like him as a head coach, but he is overly aggressive. I know that he wants points and stuff, but sometimes you just have to settle for the field goal, and stop being so aggressive.
My point that I've been saying all year is 3 points is points too. It counts and it increases your lead. In this scenario, it would have put him up 13-7. But later in the game, you see kicker Rodrigo Blankenship, doink a 33-yard field goal off the upright. So maybe there was concern, and maybe there's been concern all year about a lack of reliable kicking game.
Yeah, he hasn't been that great. But, I mean, the ball was, past the 10, I believe, and that's a chip shot. If he couldn't make that, he shouldn't be a kicker.
Yeah, absolutely. And are you, he's an undrafted rookie free agent, undrafted rookie, Blankenship. Do you want to upgrade the kicker position this offseason? Is that a need for the Colts?
No, he's a rookie. That happens. I say give him another year and see if he gets better.
All right, cool. So the Bills jump out to a 24-10 lead on Josh Allen, 35-yard touchdown pass to Stephon Diggs. Now, there's been a lot of talk about Josh Allen this year and being an MVP candidate, having a breakout year. What do you think watching Josh Allen in this playoff game? Is he as good as what everyone claims, thinks he is?
I mean, yeah, he's a good player. But, I mean, again, in that game, there was times where he made a couple bad mistakes, especially what could have been a fumble and gave the Colts back the ball in the Bills' territory towards the end of the game right there. So, I mean,
Yeah.
It's still mistakes that he makes, but overall, to me, he's a great quarterback.
Yeah, and the threat of the run is what separates him. Like on accuracy and arm strength alone, he's a good to average. But when you have the ability to run the ball like he does, that makes him special. I like to call him the white Cam Newton.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the Colts score a touchdown pass to Zach Pascal, but they go for two and don't get it. So instead of 24-17, they're down 24-16 early in the fourth. I hate these decisions. I understand a lot of people are in favor of go for the two early, so then you know whether or not you have to go for two later. I don't like it, and it puts them down 8 instead of 7 in a must-win playoff game. What do you think?
Yeah, I didn't like it at all either, man. We left so many opportunities to win the ball game out there. I mean, it's not like the Bills didn't dominate that game against us.
Yeah.
We pretty much handed it to them by missing field goals and going for two and on fourth down, man. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, a little too aggressive. I think cost them in the end. Bills rookie kicker Tyler Bass makes a 54-yard field goal to extend the lead to 11, and it's the longest made field goal in the playoffs by a rookie kicker in the Super Bowl era. So a big kick by the Bills rookie. 27-yard touchdown pass from Phillip Rivers to Jack Doyle. 2-point conversion attempt this time is good, so that works out. They get the 2 that time, cut it to a 3-point game. And then, like you mentioned, the Bills are lucky to recover the Josh Allen fumble late in the fourth. That would have set up the Colts with great field position and an opportunity to tie or take the lead. That had to be a crazy moment in the game for you.
Yeah, I was like, balls on the ground, get it. And then all of a sudden, they had recovered it. And then I was like, cool, a minute something left. This is what Phillip Rivers does.
Mm-hmm. And how do you think Phillip Rivers did? I mean, pretty much came down to a Hail Mary pass attempt. Did you trust Phillip Rivers going into that position? It just didn't work out this time.
I mean, it's Phillip Rivers, man. His track record shows that he has the, potential to blow games. But at the same time, I thought he played overall fairly well. Threw for 300, no picks, and 2 touchdowns, so.
Yep. Yeah, he had you in position. He had you in the game, So you can't say too much bad about the guy. Now, do you think that he returns for 2021, or is he going to retire? And who do you think? What does the future hold for the Colts quarterback position? Jacoby Brissett still there? Is Carson Wentz an option, or what are you thinking?
I would love for us to get some type of trade for Carson Wentz, but I think Phillip is going to get talked into by Frank Reich to come back for one more season. I mean, we were close,
Yeah.
If we can keep all our pieces and fix some of these problems, then I think Phillip is going to believe he has a shot to win a title.
Yeah, and it's a quarterback friendly system with good receivers, good weapons, solid defense, and great running game, great offensive line. So, I could see that. I really could. We'll see what they do, but maybe next year one more win, win the division, and then you got a home playoff game, and maybe that does more for the Colts next year.
Yeah, and Phillip does have to have off-season foot surgery, so I don't know how that's going to affect it.
Okay. But you would be in favor of Carson Wentz if you could get him, and or do you think could Jacoby Brissett be the guy?
That's a hard choice, man, because I love Jacoby, but at the end of the day, I've seen Wentz play, and Wentz has more experience, and he shows that when there's not a lot of drama going on a football team, that he can be a good player.
Yeah, he was an MVP candidate at one point before he got hurt. And I think you're always looking at, if you're running a team or a fan of a team that wants to see them get better, you always want to look at potential upgrades. Where can we upgrade? Where can we get better? And always evaluating. And so whether Phillip Rivers comes back or he retires and it's Brissett, Brissett and Wentz, it's a tough question, but you're always looking at potential and potential to upgrade. So I think Carson Wentz should be something the Colts look to, and reuniting him with Frank Reich could be good. Could be really good for Carson Wentz's career. Like I said, the Colts seem to be a quarterback-friendly team right now, offense.
Yeah, the Colts could use also somebody young to rebuild for the future, you know?
Yeah, yeah, and they do have Jacob Eason on the roster as well. So
yeah,
we'll see what happens. So the Bills win, and they're gonna host the Baltimore Ravens in the divisional round. Winner goes to the AFC Championship game. What's your thoughts looking ahead to Ravens at Bills? Winner goes to the AFC Championship game. Big ass game in Buffalo.
Yeah, it's first of all, I'm gonna go with the Bills to win that game.
Okay. What is that?
Why is that? Just because I think, the Bills won it after being in such a long playoff drought and winning their first playoff game since I believe 95?
Yeah, 95.
And, I feel like that Josh Allen is a better quarterback than what Lamar Jackson is, and it's going to come down to throwing the football. And at the end of the day, Josh Allen is going to do better at that than what Lamar is.
All right. Yeah, and the Bills are coming in hot. I mean, it's their first playoff win since the Hall of Famer Jim Kelly. So a great moment for Josh Allen to deliver. A lot of people questioned him when he was getting drafted and coming into the league, but he seems to have proved the doubters wrong to this point. The Bills are going into this game on a 7-game winning streak, so they're red hot. But I'm going to go against you here. I think I'm taking the Ravens, and it's because the Ravens are playing hot football right now as well, and it's a big question on who wins this game because both Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen finally, got over the hump, got their first playoff win. So now it's going to see who takes the next step, who can lead their team to a conference championship game. I think I trust the Ravens defense more. I trust their running game more. And Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen, to me, seems kind of like a toss-up. I know Josh Allen's a better thrower of the ball, but Lamar Jackson can run unlike anybody else, too. So I think it's going to be a great game. I think it's probably like a 3-point game again, and it's going to be a lot of fun either way.
Is that Saturday or Sunday?
That is, let me look real quick.
I believe it's Saturday.
Saturday night, the second game Saturday. So tomorrow night, Ravens at Bills. I mean, go ahead.
I'd like to say that, Lamar played pretty well against Tennessee, but I just feel like, the Bills want it more, man. Because, they've been on such a bad losing streak in the playoffs. I just feel like they just want to win more.
Like maybe this is their year. Maybe they can ride this all the way to the Super Bowl potentially.
Yeah.
You never know. So we'll see. Also, what is kind of going into it, I think that I like the Ravens better to match up against the Chiefs than I do the Bills. What do you think on that? Do you think the Bills can match up against Kansas City?
Yeah, I do, because I just think that the Ravens are going to choke.
Yeah, they could.
They have a track record of choking.
Yeah, and we talked about it previewing this season about can Lamar Jackson get over the hump? Can he lead his team to playoff wins? He's got one down. We'll see if he can do it again on Saturday night on the road against the Bills. Let's go to the second game on Saturday. The Rams and the Seahawks. Shocker, in my opinion. I had the Seahawks winning this one. They were at home. No 12th man, no fans. It was a big loss, but I still thought they were the more talented team, especially with the Rams starting backup quarterback John Wolford, with Jared Goff coming off surgery on a fractured thumb. But Wolford suffers a neck injury early in this game and is taken to the hospital and was replaced by Jared Goff, which for Seattle might have been worst case scenario, not going to back up out, and the starter comes in. What did you think of that?
Yeah, it was good, but the Rams are where they are because of their great defense.
Yeah, it's shocking to me because the Rams were built on Sean McVay, Jared Goff, Todd Gurley, and amazing, they were comparing them to the greatest show on turf, that Rams offense. Now it's so much more. The defense is carrying that team. It's pretty crazy.
Does this remind you of 2018? It does me.
What, the Rams, go to the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
I'm not going to go that far. But we'll see. If Jared Goff can get healthy, who knows? If they can go into Lambeau, I'll say this. If the Rams can go into Lambeau and beat Green Bay, then everything's on the table. If that defense can slow down the MVP Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams and Aaron Jones, that will be impressive as hell. So I'm going to wait on talking about the Rams in the Super Bowl until after this game tomorrow. But they can prove a lot of doubters wrong if they can shut down this Packers offense in Lambeau. Wow.
Jalen Ramsey plays lockdown defense, man.
He does, and he follows the number one receiver all over the field, something I wish Kyle Fuller and more number one corners would do. So in an effort so the Seahawks have been struggling on offense for a while now, this season. They have their moments, but they also have moments like the loss to the Jets where they just can't get it going. They lost to the Jets, right? Or no, maybe not.
No. They blew the Jets out.
Okay, well, they've had moments where they've struggled, and against lesser teams where the offense just can't get it going. And so in this game, they seem to be struggling. Jalen Ramsey's playing great defense on DK, and the Seahawks seemed on this play to want to force the ball to DK Metcalf, get it in his hands at all costs. So they throw a screen pass to Metcalf, and the Rams corner Darius Williams reads it, jumps the pass, and takes it back for a 42-yard pick six. And the Rams jump out to a 13-3 lead. First of all, a great play by the corner, Darius Williams. But the Seahawks, in my opinion, are just having a hard time scheming their guys open. You've got Russell Wilson, who's a former Super Bowl winning quarterback. We've seen him make amazing throw after amazing throw. But there just doesn't seem to be many guys getting open for the Seahawks offense.
Yeah, I mean, Russell's great, and he started off strong, but then he just struggled, and I guess, the wide receivers didn't make him look so well, and they got to work on being able to have separation.
Yeah, and, I think that I don't know who to blame for that. I think it's more scheme than receivers, but DK Metcalf has also shown that certain corners can defend him pretty well. But Russell Wilson does have a nice throw where he rolls to his left and hits DK Metcalf open for a 55-yard touchdown. Cuts it to 13-10. But the Rams 20-10 at halftime. And then they jump out to a 30-13 lead in the fourth quarter, set up by a Seahawks fumble on a punt return. At that point, it was wow, I couldn't really believe what I was seeing. 30-13, and the Rams were taking it to Seattle.
And everybody thought
surprised? Were you surprised by the Rams kicking Seattle's ass in Seattle?
Yeah, because I had Seattle winning that game, and I thought, because of John Wolford starting, that the Rams just wouldn't have enough firepower.
Yeah. But the Rams win 30-20 in Seattle and snap the Seahawks 10 straight home wins in the playoffs. This is Pete Carroll and Russell Wilson's first career home playoff loss. So shocking to say the least.
Now it still would have been a little different if the 12th man was there.
Absolutely. You can't underestimate how much of a factor that Seattle 12th man and that crowd noise has on a game. And that's the thing that's different about this season, is that the lack of fans, especially in the playoffs, does play a role. And we'll see if it affects the Chiefs because they're known for their great crowd there at Arrowhead. Maybe a lack of fans hurts some of these teams with a great home field advantage usually. Lambeau, too.
Yeah, but Lambeau's protected by the cold.
Yeah, and we'll see if snow and weather plays a factor in their games. But So the Rams advance to play at Lambeau tomorrow. The first playoff game tomorrow. Jared Goff will start, and John Wolford has been ruled out. So Blake Bortles will be the backup. So both quarterbacks have playoff experience. They're going to Lambeau. How much of a shot do you give this Rams team to go to Lambeau and steal a win from the number 1 seed Packers?
I mean, anything's possible, especially, again, with that kind of defense. I don't see anybody on the Packers front line that can stop Aaron Donald, especially with Bakhtiari being out. And
yes, no Bakhtiari hurts. It really does, and you're going to see that here in the playoffs more than ever. Whether it's the Rams and Leonard Floyd, who has a good Leonard Floyd's had success against the Packers, and you got Aaron Donald as well. And then even if they win, let's say they play the Saints pass rush or the Bucks, no Bakhtiari could come back to hurt this Packers team.
Yeah, and somebody else is going to have to step up, whether it's Valdez-Scantling or, Aaron Jones or somebody, because I feel like Ramsey is going to put, the lock on Devontae Adams.
Yeah, we're going to be looking at Valdez-Scantling, Robert Tonyan, Aaron Jones, all those guys to step up and make a big play because, Ramsey versus Adams is going to be what we're all watching. That's going to be a great matchup. So, big win for the Rams. I can't wait for Rams-Packers. Who's your prediction on Rams-Packers?
You mean score prediction or just prediction of the game?
Just like who's going to win, who's going to advance.
At the end of the day, I'm going to go with the Green Bay because Aaron Rodgers is having one hell of a year.
Yeah, I agree. I've got the Packers, and what I think should be a close game, hard fought, but I give the Rams a chance just because of that defense. But it's Aaron Rodgers. When he's playing at his best, he's hard to stop. Almost impossible to stop.
Yeah. It's crazy.
As a Bears fan, I would know that well. So let's go to the Saturday night game. Bucks at Washington. Alex Smith. When we got the news Alex Smith was out, we were like, this isn't going to be that great of a game. No Alex Smith, so backup quarterback Taylor Heineke gets the start. And I was expecting a blowout. Did you as well?
Yeah. The kid played well, though, man.
Yeah, he played a lot better than expected. But so this is a key stat for Washington. When we were predicting the season, we didn't. We had Washington going like 5-11 or 4-12. We didn't expect much out of them and the quarterback position. But Alex Smith was the key. With Alex Smith starting, Washington went 5-1 this season. He's the reason they made the playoffs and went on their winning streak and all that. With any other quarterback other than Alex Smith, Washington went 2-9 this season.
Yeah, that's terrible.
Yeah. So the Bucks take care of business. They go up 18-7 at halftime. But Taylor Heineke does his best as a sweet 8-yard touchdown run. Cuts the lead to 18-16. Heineke, a perfectly placed 11-yard touchdown pass to Steven Sims, cuts it to 28-23, but just not enough in the end. The Bucks win 31-23. Tom Brady passes George Blanda for the oldest quarterback ever to throw a touchdown pass in the playoffs at age 43. How do you feel about this Bucks team going into a big game on Sunday at the Saints?
I am super excited for this game, man. It's almost like a dream matchup, Like it's a matchup that we wouldn't have seen unless it was a Super Bowl. But now, with both players being in the same division, we get to see, like a fire-ass game. But I think that the Bucks have their moments where they're slow, and can't put points up, and you can't do that against a Drew Brees.
Yeah, I agree. And it was a great point by you. This is going to be a hell of a matchup. Tom Brady, anytime you get to watch Tom Brady in the playoffs is fun. And with Drew Brees on the other side, we don't get to see these matchups too often. So don't take this game for granted. This is must-watch football in New Orleans. And I've been saying it all year long. I'm sure you can tell me right now what I'm thinking. What did I say week 1? What did I say after the Saints swept the Bucs in the regular season?
I can't remember, man. I'm sorry.
It's all good. I kept saying, if these teams meet in the playoffs, guess who I'm taking?
New Orleans.
No, Tampa Bay. I don't care about no sweep. I don't care about the regular season. If these teams rematch in the playoffs, give me Tom Brady the GOAT. The Saints can sweep them in the regular season. When it comes down to the most important game, I got Tampa Bay and the Bucs on the road. I don't care.
You're taking Brady over Breeze if it came down to it?
Yep.
Ooh, man, I don't know.
It's going to be a hell of a game, but yeah, I'm all in. I got the Bucs.
That Saints defense is amazing.
It is. Top 5 in the NFL. But I'll tell you, as a Bears fan who watched that Bears-Saints game closely, they didn't impress me all that much. The Bears, as bad as they were, had opportunities to be in that game and potentially win it.
Yeah, but the Bears, started picking up their offense towards the end, so it's not like the Bears had a terrible offense.
You're not going to hear me saying anything positive about this Bears team on this one, so.
I tried to get you, man.
That was a good one. That was a good try. All right, let's go to Sunday. Ravens-Titans. Big prove-it game for Lamar Jackson, as I tweeted before it started. Sunday was all about prove-it games for Lamar Jackson, Mitch Trubisky, and Baker Mayfield. We talked all season, all offseason about how Lamar is 0-2 in the playoffs as a starter. He needed to prove us wrong. The Titans are the team that beat him last year. And so the big game, Titans-Ravens. What was your thoughts going into this game? Did you trust the Ravens to win it? And I'm sure you were rooting for Baltimore.
Yeah, but then again, I also thought Henry was just going to have a career day against them.
Yeah, and shockingly, Derrick Henry did not. He was held to just 51 combined yards. The Ravens did a great job of taking Derrick Henry away and saying, we're going to stop Derrick Henry. It's up to Ryan Tannehill to beat us. And it was a great job by them. And, they did enough on offense to get the win. The Titans jump out to a 10-0 early lead, and Lamar Jackson throws an interception on his third pass attempt of the game. It started out in the exact way I expected. Titans get out to an early lead, and Lamar Jackson has an early turnover. But to his credit, Lamar Jackson stayed mentally strong and led his team back. What did you think about that start?
Yeah, I thought, it was going through my head that, man, once again, Lamar's going to blow this.
Yeah.
And I thought, the Titans were going to end up going up even bigger, but the Titans all season long have had leads and had defensive struggles, late in games.
Yeah, that's what's the biggest difference about this Titans team compared to last year is their defense was nowhere near the same. Last year they were a much better defense. All right, so when I saw Lamar really impressed me in this game because when it seemed to be 3rd and long, when the odds were against him, Lamar seemed to step up the most. Down 10-0, an early turnover, 3rd and long, and he comes through and makes a big throw, to keep the drive going. And on 3rd and 9 here, Lamar doesn't see anyone open, so he takes off with his legs and goes 48 yards through the Titans defense for a touchdown. That was special, and that reminded me of Mike Vick on that touchdown run.
Yeah, it was a great run, and once he got into open field, there was no catching him.
Yeah, and that's what makes him special is that ability. So the Ravens, a J.K. Dobbins touchdown to start the second half, and they take a 17-10 lead. A big defensive stop holds the Titans to a field goal, so they still have a 17-13 lead. When Justin Tucker, their kicker, missed a 52-yard field goal, I thought it was the Titans' day. Tucker never misses, especially in big playoff important field goals.
Yeah, Tucker's almost 100% with the kick.
Yeah. So when he missed, I thought it was a bad sign, but he comes through and completely redeems himself with a 51-yarder on the next drive to make it 20-13. He's not going to miss those two in a row. But before that, the Titans were moving. They got down to the Ravens' 40-yard line, and on 4th and 2, they punted. This decision by Mike Vrabel has been discussed a lot and criticized. Do you think it was a bad decision to punt it on 4th and 2 on the Baltimore 40? You think the Titans should have been aggressive and gone for it, down 4?
Absolutely. Feed the beast.
Yeah. Well, he had been struggling all game, though. The Ravens did a good job. You think, I mean, even if you play action off of Derrick Henry and get Tannehill rolled out, maybe he can pick it up with his legs.
You could have done an easy RPO.
Yeah, I agree. Usually I'm not for going for it on 4th down, but I think in that position they probably should have.
I don't care what the situation was, 4th and 2, and I have Derrick Henry in my backfield.
Yeah, especially on their side of the field.
He should have learned that from Pete Carroll.
Yeah, I'm more conservative when it comes to offense. I'm like, I hate turnovers on downs, but even I think would have gone for it there. So interesting decision by Mike Vrabel, especially with the Titans' defense being questionable. Then Ryan Tannehill gets his pass intercepted by Marcus Peters, a clutch interception. And a stat on Marcus Peters, he leads the NFL with the most interceptions since 2015 with 34 picks. People don't talk enough about Marcus Peters. He's a ball hawk.
Yeah, he's very underrated, but I mean, it's pretty much all about Jalen Ramsey.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he's the best, but I mean, you got Xavier Howard, you got J.C. Jackson, guys like Marcus Peters. There's some damn good corners that are in the conversation as well, but Ramsey is special, absolutely. So the Titans can't stop the Ravens. Baltimore runs out the clock and avenge their 2019 divisional round loss to Tennessee. The Ravens move on to play at the Bills tomorrow night. Big-ass game. You said you got the Bills in that one, right?
Absolutely. I'm going Buffalo.
I'm going Ravens. They got to prove it. Both teams got to prove it. The Bills haven't been there since the early 90s, so big-ass game. I can't wait. The Ravens, so the thing that worries me about Buffalo is that their run defense seems a little suspect. Like, you can run the ball in Buffalo. And the Ravens in this game against Tennessee rushed for 236 yards. That's their most in a playoff game in franchise history. So the Bills are going to have to prove that they can stop the Ravens' run offense and Lamar Jackson, keep him contained. That's going to be the key of the game, in my opinion.
I agree. Okay, I have a question for you. What makes you think that the Ravens are a better opponent to the Chiefs than what the Bills are?
Simply from the fact that I don't trust the Bills. The Ravens. So here's an interesting stat right here. Ravens head coach John Harbaugh. I think this is where I'm going with this. The Ravens are a better coach team, and the coaching staff has been there before. With this win, John Harbaugh that's his 8th road playoff win, and that's the most in NFL history, passing legendary coaches Tom Landry and Tom Coughlin. So it's coaching is what separates the Ravens and Bills, in my opinion. And that's why I give them a chance against Kansas City, because I've seen John Harbaugh take a Ravens team into Foxborough and beat a prime Tom Brady. So if he can do that, he can beat a prime Patrick Mahomes. That's the only thing, in my opinion.
I like how you're just writing off all Cleveland Browns hopes.
Browns Chiefs? So we'll get there. I'm not writing them completely off. I'm actually looking forward to this game. I think it's going to be good. I really do. But do the Browns have enough? And the Browns and Bills are in very similar position to me, where they have to prove it to me. They've never been there before. They don't have that championship swagger, that history of winning big games. And so both the Browns and the Bills, I'm not going to pick them until they prove it to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. Are you more optimistic on the Browns?
Actually, man, like you said, we will get to that. I got something to say.
All right, good. So, yeah, I can't wait for Ravens-Bills Saturday night. It should be a hell of a game. That's must-watch football. Now let's get to my Bears and Saints. I got a lot to say on this one. The Bears go in without starters Roquan Smith, their leading tackler, their number 2 corner in rookie Jalen Johnson, and their second best wide receiver and rookie Darnell Mooney. So when the Bears announced that these 3 stars would be out, I gave them zero to very little chance. Were you the same? Did you think the Bears had any shot in this game?
No.
Yeah. That's short and sweet, but seriously, like, not much of a shot. The Bears offense goes 3 and out on their first possession. And right off the bat, it was a bad sign because on 3rd and 5, Trubisky had an open David Montgomery, but instead he forced it to Allen Robinson. And it's decisions like that that give people the ammunition to say that Trubisky can't read defenses. And so if you're forcing it into coverage to Allen Robinson when you got an open David Montgomery slightly to your left, it's not a good look. Do you agree on that? Do you see that?
Yeah, and that's something that Trubisky has struggled with.
He has. And this was a prove-it game for Trubisky. Like I said, the Green Bay and the Saints were prove-it games, an opportunity to prove a lot of people wrong and come back to the Bears next year. And I don't think he did enough. I really don't. The potential was always there with Trubisky, but you got to get it done in the biggest games, and I don't think he did.
But like you said, the Saints didn't play spectacular. I mean, it was only 21-9. It should have been a lot worse.
Yeah, but you could argue. I mean, that last touchdown was garbage time. It was 21-3 there in the fourth.
To me, a touchdown to touchdown.
I mean, we literally scored that touchdown as the zeros hit the clock. So with 10 seconds left in the game, it was still 21-3. We didn't play well enough to even be in that game, to be honest. But I agree that the Saints didn't exactly bury us. So on the next possession, so Drew Brees puts the Saints up 7-0 with a nice touchdown pass to Michael Thomas. Nice to see the Brees-Thomas connection added again. But Trubisky with 2 beautiful throws to Javon Wims on the next drive. He completes one, a deep ball, which everyone says Trubisky sucks at the deep ball. Completes a 28-yarder to Javon Wims, perfectly placed. And then on the next play, Trubisky lines up at wide receiver. The Bears are in Wildcat. And it is a great play call by Nagy, if he called this one. Trubisky comes over, gets the handoff, and throws it deep to Javon Wims. Would have been a 40-yard touchdown pass, hits Wims in the hands in the end zone, and Wims just drops it. Killer drop. That would have tied the game at 7 right there. You're not going to win playoff games with drops like that. I don't care who you are.
Yeah, I seen that throw, man. That was a perfect throw.
It was a good throw, and I couldn't understand it. How do you drop that ball? Like, what the hell?
Man, I don't know. If I was a Bears fan, I probably would have turned the game off and broke something.
Oh, man. I was watching with a friend, so I couldn't turn it off, but I was like, I don't even want to watch this game. So on top of that, it was on a stupid – because we were streaming it, right? So all we had on was a stupid Nickelodeon version. Man, if I got to see another Slime Zone thing ever again, I'm turning it off. That was awful.
Yeah, that was – I don't get that, man.
But anyways, let's get back to it. So on that drive, it sucks. That was killer because it could have been 7-7, and you had Trubisky with 2 beautiful throws. And that's the upside of Trubisky. The downside is on this play. On 4th and 4, Trubisky scrambles out, and it's 4th down, right? An opportunity to pick up the first down and keep a drive alive, the same way Lamar Jackson was doing against Tennessee. But instead of – you can see a guy between Trubisky and the first down. And instead of putting his head down and, like Cutler has done before, put your head down, run over the defender, go get that first down. I don't care if you get hurt on the play. It's the playoffs. Go get that first down. Instead, Trubisky kind of like slowed up and stepped out of bounds and got, was easily forced out of bounds short of the first down. You can't do that in the playoffs, man. And fans are not going to support you if you're doing stuff like that.
Yeah, you have to give it your all and leave everything on the field. And Trubisky, it just seemed like maybe he was scared or didn't care.
Yeah, and there's something missing there. I think, like that's just inexcusable. You're not going to get any starting NFL quarterback job with doing stuff like that. So this is kind of the breaking point on Trubisky. Like I've been a supporter his entire career, and now I'm on board. I don't think he's coming back, and I think we're going to move on. So you got to play better than that in the biggest games.
I was just I was just about to ask you the question if you think that was the end of the Trubisky era.
I do. You don't play like that in the biggest games and come back. And it's easy for the Bears to walk away, clean their hands, wash their hands of the situation, and move on. And I think it's best for the organization as well. Part
Yeah,
of the
I agree.
part of the reason Trubisky was back is that the GM Ryan Pace didn't want to admit that he was wrong on that draft pick of taking Trubisky over Watson and Mahomes. At this point, Pace has to admit that he was wrong. He just has to. So,
Hey, but he had
go
the
ahead.
second chance to make it right.
He did, and credit to the Bears. They gave him a second opportunity. And I'll talk a little bit more. I think that Nagy never put the quarterbacks, whether it was Trubisky or Foles, in the best position to succeed and win. But that's something that we're gonna have to deal with for another year. So we'll see what happens.
What do you think about the fact that they were quick to announce Nagy's return?
To be honest, I hated it. I hated that we're bringing back Pace. I hated that we're bringing back Nagy. I would have absolutely cleaned house. I would have, got rid of the team president, would have got rid of the GM, would have got rid of the head coach, whole new staff, and, go get Eric Bieniemy or someone like that and try to convince Deshaun Watson to come over or draft the next quarterback, which I think we're going to have a new quarterback, but it pains me to know that it's going to be the same management. And Ryan Pace, I can live with him coming back. I'm not a Nagy fan. And, Nagy's going to have to prove me wrong for me to come back on his side, but I'm not a fan of his.
Yeah, I have a lot of other Bears fans, and they're not happy with him either.
Yeah, it's not great. And the worst part about it is ownership seems content with what we've been doing of late. They're like, 2 playoff trips in 3 years. I'm like, yeah, but what's that gotten us? What's that really gotten us? We're 0-2 in the playoffs. We can't beat the Packers, our biggest rival. Like, hey, go get Deshaun Watson this offseason and I'll change my tune. But at this moment, I can understand why a lot of Bears fans are upset.
Yeah, I mean, but, again, what if Nagy can't really work with Watson?
I think that Watson is good enough to overcome Nagy. And Watson will be smart enough to be like, screw you, Nagy. I'm calling an audible. I'm running what I want to run here. And Nagy, I think Nagy his job isn't golden. He's not like, he isn't getting a 5-year extension. I think it's a 1 year, and if he struggles this year, I think he gets fired. If he struggles in 2021, regardless of who the quarterback is, I think, Nagy is fired. So we'll see.
Another question though. So who do you think you would have to give up to even be able to get Watson?
So I'm all in. Look, if Deshaun Watson, players like Watson don't become available very often. They don't get upset and want to switch teams often. So if Watson remains upset and wants out and stays strong like Andre Johnson, the greatest Texan wide receiver ever, said he should do, if Watson's truly still pissed off and wants out, if I'm the Bears, I move whatever needs to be done to get Deshaun Watson. I make an offer to the Texans that they can't refuse. And that's multiple first-round picks. That's probably a star player. That might be Khalil Mack. But we have to do to go get Deshaun Watson. The second Deshaun Watson becomes a Chicago Bear, he will be the greatest Bears quarterback we've ever had.
Without even playing the game?
I mean, on paper, I mean, his first game, you'll see it. It's not. I'm not saying like he's accomplished the most of any Bears player, but he'll be the most talented quarterback we've ever had. So we'll see if we can get it done. I say move whatever needs to be done to get Deshaun Watson. And we talked about this, I believe it was week 13. And it didn't seem like Watson wanted out yet. And I was like, Ryan Pace, how do you restore faith with Bears fans? How do you correct your awful mistake? You go get the quarterback you should have drafted. You go get Deshaun Watson. You do whatever you have to get him. And that might involve J.J. Watt coming over to the Bears as well with his contract. The Texans don't like his contract, so you could get J.J. Watt potentially in that deal and do the Texans a favor there as well.
That's scary.
Yeah. But, I mean, if it requires losing Mac, our defense is going to take a little bit of a hit for sure. But it's worth it. Go get Deshaun Watson. Give up first, sacrifice the future. Go get the best quarterback we've ever had.
Well, the defense really wouldn't take a hit if you did get Watt.
It would a little bit, but I'm content with our. I mean, I know our defense regressed, but we got Roquan Smith, Eddie Jackson. You've got Akeem Hicks, Eddie Goldman. You've got good young talent, and continue to build through the draft. I like Jalen Johnson. Our defense has a future, Roquan Smith especially, and so you could work around it. We could still be a top 15, top 10 defense. Even if we have to retool it a little bit. I mean, we had Khalil Mack, and our defense kind of let us down this year.
Yeah, Mack hasn't, been playing what he used to.
Not since 2018, really. He's still a factor, but the flash, the big sacks, the big takeaways aren't there as much anymore. So we'll see what happens, but I'm all in on Deshaun Watson if we can get him. Let's look at the Saints here. The Saints get a win, 21-9 over the Bears, and they will host the Bucs on Sunday night in the divisional round. How are you feeling about the Saints? Not a convincing win over the Bears, but a win nonetheless.
Yeah, and I mean, hey, in the playoffs, a win is a win. You got to take it any chance you get.
Yep. Did you say earlier you're picking the Saints against Tampa Bay?
Yes, because a win this is a must-win for the Saints and Drew Brees. Drew Brees needs this for his legacy, and if he wants to be considered one of the greatest, he has to win this game.
Yeah, and this might be his last opportunity. A lot of people are hinting that this is Drew Brees' last year, that he will retire after the season. So if he wants to go out on top with a Super Bowl win, you got to win out from here on out. I have a hard time seeing the Saints beating Tom Brady and the Bucs 3 straight games.
Yeah, but the Bucs, man, they really struggle sometimes on offense.
Yeah. Yep. So, that's key. And my guy to look out for, though, the X factor in Tampa Bay is the emergence of Antonio Brown, who was the best wide receiver in football before he was out of the league in 2019. He's back. He seems to be playing some damn good football. He's hitting his stride. And to look for Antonio Brown to be the X factor on Sunday night.
Yeah, that's huge.
Yep. He's played in big playoff games before. Tom Brady trusts him. I look for 2 touchdowns from Antonio Brown on a big night.
Man, is it Sunday already? You're getting me hyped.
I know, dude. I'm hyped. I've been hyped all week, bro. I can't wait. Tomorrow the playoffs start, so can't wait.
I just gotta say, like you said, we need to really sit down and enjoy this game of these two playing each other, man, because this could be it.
It is, yeah. Breeze versus Brady one last time. It's going to be a lot of fun. So
it almost brings a tear to my eye, like seeing greatness just for one last time.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome, and it's gonna be so much fun. I'm gonna be enjoying that one. Now another rumor on Deshaun Watson is a potential trade to the Dolphins for quarterback Tua. How shocked are you that the Dolphins? There's people inside that building that are questioning Tua already and saying maybe he's already not the answer.
Yeah, I mean, I agree because Tua hasn't shown flashes of greatness. And I mean, when you have to bring in a veteran to save your game, which depends on you winning or not, that just proves that maybe he's not the person you thought he is.
Well, and remember this, when we did our preseason preview for the Dolphins, what did we say? We were saying Tua, coming off a major injury, they should redshirt him all season. Let Tua sit for as long as possible. You've got Ryan Fitzpatrick. There's no need to throw him in there. But let Fitzpatrick be the quarterback all year long and rest Tua. Let Tua learn and develop his game so that he is completely ready when you finally do put him out there. Instead, in my opinion, they put him out there way too early, and they messed with his confidence by benching him not only once but twice. As a young quarterback trying to make it in the NFL, that's about as bad of a rookie year as you can have. Getting thrown out there too early and then benched twice for performance. That's not a good look. And I think Tua has been poorly managed by the Dolphins.
Yeah, I have to agree because, I mean, if you're going to, want him to be a starter that young, you need to show that you got all the confidence in him.
Yeah. So
it's basically the same thing that happened in that last game, Philadelphia and Washington.
Yep. Yeah. Pulling Jalen Hurts too quick, too early for no reason, and guess what? It got Doug Peterson fired.
Yeah.
So, we'll see what happens. But yeah, and I hope for Tua's sake he doesn't get traded to the Texans, or and it works out for him because it's been a rough start.
I agree.
Now let's go to Browns Steelers, the shocker of the weekend. The Browns coming in without head coach Kevin Stefanski and without starting guard Joel Bitonio. Both tested positive for COVID. Offensive coordinator Alex Van Pelt takes over play calling. And Juju Smith firing a shot leading up to the game says, quote, "The Browns is the Browns," a.k.a. the same old Browns, we're not worried about them. Do you think that comment by Juju sparked a fire under Cleveland?
Absolutely it did.
Yeah. What is wrong with these guys talking shit before a playoff game, giving people ammunition like that?
Yeah, I couldn't tell you, man. And I mean, it's like, we saw the same thing in college with Dabo talking all that crap about Ohio State, and then they get trounced by 28 points. It's like, do not fire up something if you can't keep your word.
Exactly. Don't talk shit if you can't back it up. And you see it all the time in sports where teams and players open their mouths and talk some shit, and next thing you know, they're getting their ass kicked. So, story as old as time, and it happens to the Steelers here. First offensive play of the game. Pro Bowl center Marquise Pouncey snaps the ball over Big Ben's head and into the end zone where the Browns recover it for a touchdown. Best start possible for the underdog Browns. When you saw that, did you think it was the Browns' day?
Yeah, I thought, wow, man. Steelers making a mistake this quick and the Browns scored already?
Yeah.
This could be interesting.
Yep, absolutely. And then the Steelers, their next offensive possession, Big Ben throws an interception to the Browns' MJ Stewart. Turnover fest to start the game. 2 turnovers right off the bat, and then 3 plays later, Baker Mayfield to Jarvis Landry for a 40-yard touchdown, and it's 14-0 Browns. Worst start possible. Then the Steelers go 3 and out, and Kareem Hunt goes in for an 11-yard touchdown, 21-0 Browns. Then Big Ben throws his second interception. This one goes through Deontay Johnson's hands and is picked off by Sheldrick Redwine. and Kareem Hunt with an 8-yard rushing touchdown. 28-0 Browns in the first quarter. How shocked were you by that start?
Yeah, man, it was unbelievable. I did not see that coming.
So get this. So we are over here. We're the ones that are on the podcast all the time talking football. We followed it all year. None of us could have predicted 28-0 Browns in the first quarter, right?
Absolutely not.
Okay, well, my friend Amanda, who's been on this podcast before, she tells me that she predicted the Browns to be up 28-0 after the first quarter. I don't know, I don't know if she's being serious, but she's got to stop it. I feel like she's messing with the league.
Get her a job right now.
All right, so then Big Ben intercepted for the third time in the first half, a tipped pass at the line, and 28-0 lead, 4 first half Steeler turnovers, worst start possible. The Steelers do get back into it a little bit, and it's 35-10 at the half. At 35-10 at halftime, did you feel like the Steelers had any opportunity to get back into it, or was it over already?
Man, I thought once it was 28-0, it was over. I mean, Ben was struggling. The offense was struggling. The defense was actually struggling too.
That's the biggest shocker is the defense. I agree.
But, I mean, then again, it's been said, was this Steelers team actually pretenders? Because most of their wins came against sub-500 teams.
Well, they're explosive. Their passing game, they can throw out points in a hurry. And their defense in the regular season was the best in football for a while. And if not, the whole season. But when you go into the playoffs and the defense, you put the defense in short, put the defense's back against the wall, constantly with turnover after turnover after turnover, it's easy for even a great defense to break and to be like, what the hell is going on? Any unit needs to play with confidence and feel like they're in a position to win. So constantly being, coming on the field off of turnovers and shit like that is not going to help any defense. I still had hope at 35-10. I said the Browns have to prove it to me. They have to finish the game, finish the win, and the Steelers are very capable of making it a game. They do get back into it, 35-23, and a key moment in this game. So at 35-23, in the second half, 13 straight points by the Steelers, or maybe 16 straight for the Steelers at this point. Baker Mayfield throws a pass intended for Donovan Peoples-Jones, who slips on the route, and the ball goes through the hands of Steelers corner Steven Nelson. Near disaster and almost a pick six right there. If the Steelers score on a pick six right there, then all of a sudden it's 35-30 and they're right back in it. Baker Mayfield got lucky on that one.
Yeah, and as for the cornerback, you have to catch that ball.
Yes. We've seen it multiple times here late in the year. The Bears, for example, had 3 dropped interceptions against Aaron Rodgers and the Packers week 17. You have to capitalize on opportunities to take the ball away. And the Steelers are sitting at home now. They're knocked out of the playoffs. If they had caught that interception and scored, they might still be playing.
Yep, I agree. So, what is it? Why do you think Big Ben performed so bad?
Well, so this is what I see. They can't run the ball, right? Their running game sucks. So it's all on Big Ben and those weapons, which aren't the best weapons in football. I know Chase Claypool's great. I think Juju's a little overrated. I think Deontay Johnson I liked him coming out of college, but he's okay. He's good, but he's got too many drops. James Washington, etc. I just feel like there was too much pressure on Big Ben. And when you're throwing the ball constantly and have no running game, it puts so much pressure. Every drop, every incompletion is huge. And it puts you in long down and distance, and it just puts your back against the wall. And Big Ben at this age, an older Big Ben, you can't put it all. He's not prime Big Ben anymore. He's not prime Tom Brady who can throw it every play. You got to help him out with a running game and a defense and stuff like that.
Especially with that elbow injury.
Yeah. And so he's just not the same Big Ben, so the Steelers were asking too much out of him this year.
If I'm not mistaken, didn't he throw the ball like 60-something times?
I believe so. Let me look at that real quick. And he threw 4 interceptions, 4 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. You know, you're not going to win that way. And everyone, ask any expert. They say, how do you win in the playoffs? It's with defense and running game. Running game and defense. And so if you don't have a running game and your defense plays poorly, you're going to struggle. You're not going to win. 68 pass attempts for Big Ben.
Yeah, that's insane.
Way too much. And if you ask me, how do you lose a game? You throw it 68 times. Plain and simple.
Yeah, so is this it for him?
I don't think so, honestly. I think it's tough to say because you did see Big Ben on the sideline as this game was ending with tears. That looked like this might be it. I think he knows he's not going to, that might be it, or maybe just one more year. We'll see. I don't think he's going to make a quick decision. He's going to think about it, get his mind right, see if he wants to come back another year. I think he does play one more year, and it might not be with the Steelers. He's got like a $40 million cap hit, and they're going to want to renegotiate with him. We'll see if he is willing to do it. Who knows? Maybe we might see Big Ben playing somewhere else, maybe for a team like the Colts.
You've been trying to get my hopes up all night long, man. You better stop.
Hey, Big Ben would be a perfect fit in Indy with the running game, offensive line, and defense. That's how
Absolutely.
That's how you go win a championship. Yeah. So the Browns advance. The Browns win their first playoff game since what? When's the last time the Browns won? 99? Or no, 94.
Yeah, 94. With Bill Belichick, I believe.
Yeah, with Bill Belichick and against the Patriots in 94. So, huge win for the Browns. The city was celebrating, unbelievable upset of the Steelers. My question is this, Dustin. Can they do it 2 weeks in a row? Now they get their head coach back, who's been their play caller all year long. They get their starting guard back. They've got confidence. And now this is the true ultimate test for this Browns team. How good are they as they go to Arrowhead to take on the defending champion Kansas City Chiefs? How much of a shot do you give the Browns of actually pulling this one off?
Well, I'll tell you right now, I am drinking that Cleveland juice.
Yeah.
And I am really feeling it for Cleveland, man. I think they're going to put up a fight. Do I think they win? No, but they're going to come out and show, hey, we're not the old Browns.
Yeah. And you know how Juju Smith fired him up? Chiefs wide receiver Sammy Watkins disrespecting the Browns again. Responds to a tweet. Someone says to Sammy Watkins, looks like we've got some competition next week. Sammy Watkins responds, I wouldn't go that far. Stupid comments by Watkins, who's been announced as out. He's not even going to be playing in this game. So if you're a Chiefs fan, you got a wide receiver who won't even play in the game out here throwing fire to the Browns.
Not to mention, if they put up 48 points against one of the best defenses in the league, the Chiefs defense isn't all that great, to be honest.
Exactly. And so what they say, running game wins in the playoffs. The Browns have the best two-headed monster in football with Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb. My advice to the Browns, don't ask Baker Mayfield to do too much. Feed that running game. Keep Patrick Mahomes on the sideline. And if you can run on the Browns, on the Chiefs, the way you did the Steelers and that defense, the Browns could shock the world again.
Man, how crazy would that be, dude?
That would be nuts. Now, I'm going to be rooting for the Browns. I don't have any Browns gear, but I might find a Browns hat and throw it on for this game. But do I think they win? it's Patrick, I think Mahomes. I think the Chiefs win in the end in a good, hard-fought game. But go Browns, baby. Go Browns.
If the Browns win, do we get Baker? Cleveland, this is for you.
Does he throw up like chalk? Does he throw up that chalk stuff?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Had to have a LeBron mention on this one, huh?
Yeah, man. I had to.
Baker, after beating the Chiefs, is going to be like, not 5, not 6, not 7.
Yeah. But I mean, this would give Baker the most ultimate respect across the league, too, man. I mean,
it would. Yeah, this would do wonders for – and Kevin Stefanski, talk about the culture that he's built there in Cleveland. Even when he's not available, they plug in Alex Van Pelt and get a big win over the hated Steelers. Big credit to Kevin Stefanski. And if he can pull this win off against the Chiefs, man, I don't know how he's not Coach of the Year.
How far can they go if they beat the Chiefs?
Yeah, the ceiling's the roof. Ceiling's the roof. If they beat the Chiefs, the Browns can win the Super Bowl.
Man, that would be something.
Yeah. So I can't wait for Browns Chiefs. When is that?
Browns.
Is that Sunday?
Yep, at 3:05.
So, man, I'm going to be hyped for that one. I just want the Browns to keep it competitive. I want a great game. I want them to scare Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. Do I believe they can win it? No. But, hey, I was wrong. I didn't think they could beat the Steelers. So, prove me wrong, Cleveland. I love it. Keep it up. So, I can't wait. I can't wait for the playoffs, divisional round this weekend. Whether it's who knows what we got, but the conference championship round is going to be awesome as well. And so it's going to be a great weekend. It's going to be a lot of good football.
Question for you. Would you have fired Doug Peterson?
Yes. I believe that with benching Jalen Hurts, I think it came down to week 17. And I believe that Doug Peterson benched Jalen Hurts and lost the locker room. I truly believe that's what it was. I think he lost the locker room. The players don't trust him. And he was the fall guy. He got fired. I think it was Huh?
What made him take out Hurts, though? It didn't make any sense.
I believe it was ownership. I believe it was above Doug Peterson. They wanted Jalen Hurts out. I think there was a push from Jeffrey Lurie and the Eagles ownership that doesn't want to move on from Carson Wentz. And they didn't want Jalen Hurts in the game to deliver a fourth quarter game-winning drive and beat the Washington, because then all Eagles fans will be talking about all offseason long is Jalen Hurts. I believe Jeffrey Lurie and Eagles ownership wants to keep Carson Wentz, wants him to be the guy, and threw Doug Peterson under the bench. Under the bus. Said Doug Peterson made the move to go to take Jalen Hurts out, and said that Doug Peterson was the reason that Carson Wentz struggled so much.
Man, they did him dirty.
Yeah, that's my belief. I can't say it for sure, but that's my belief, because a lot of stuff happens behind the scenes that doesn't get talked about, and that's what I think happened in Philly. So Doug Peterson was the fall guy, and who cares, honestly, unless you're an Eagles fan, because Doug Peterson's going to get hired by somebody else. He's going to get another shot. He's a solid NFL head coach.
So, do you think that this makes the Eagles' job less popular?
Yeah, the Eagles are in a tough spot right now. I mean, the Eagles are the Eagles. They're going to get who they want. They're going to get a solid head coach. Being the Eagles head coach is a coveted job around the league. It's a great place to be a coach. I mean, the fans are rabid, but when you win in Philly, they love you. So they'll get a solid coach, but I'll be interested to see what they're doing at the quarterback position, if they still want Carson Wentz or if they go all in with Jalen Hurts. I think they're going to make whoever the head coach is, and the next head coach, I think they're going to be like, what do you think of Carson Wentz? Can you make Carson Wentz work? And so I'm interested to see how everything plays out in Philly.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's Lincoln Riley having that connection with Jalen Hurts.
Oh, that's a solid. I like that one. That's a good point by you. Lincoln Riley, or yeah, I couldn't really think of who else. So that's a good point. Some coaching news: Bears Chuck Pagano retires. Bears defensive coordinator. So the Bears are going to need a new DC. GM Ryan Pace, Matt Nagy returning. The Jags hire Urban Meyer in a big splash move. I never thought Urban Meyer would leave college football, but he goes to the NFL. And now the choice is going to be up to him. Trevor Lawrence or Ohio State recruit Justin Fields. Where would you go, Dustin?
Oh, that's an easy answer to your question there. Of course, Trevor Lawrence.
Yes, I agree. Trevor Lawrence, I think it's a no-brainer. I personally would not touch Justin Fields in the NFL. I wouldn't draft him. I think he's the fourth best. Maybe I would maybe take a flyer on him in like the second round. But I'm not drafting Justin Fields in the first round. I would rather have Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, or Mac Jones over Justin Fields.
I think this is the greatest opportunity for Urban. They have $76 million open for free cap space.
Yeah, he can build a winner for sure.
One of the biggest free agent years with players in a long time. So he can go out and get some grown men and really turn it around.
Absolutely. And but it starts with the quarterback. He's got to draft the right guy. He's got the number 1 overall pick. It's all up to him. If he's smart, you go Trevor Lawrence 100% of the time.
Are you surprised Urban took this job being with his health risk? Was that just to get out of Ohio State, or do you think he was really struggling with his health?
No. I think the health stuff has been overblown. I think he uses that as a way to dip out when things go bad. But he's a hell of a coach, and I don't really agree. Like I'm confused by this decision by him. I would have stayed in college football. That's his bread and butter. That's where he's great. But he wants to go to the NFL and prove that he can do it here. We've seen Nick Saban do it. We've seen Steve Spurrier do it.
Lane Kiffin.
Yeah, Lane Kiffin, Chip Kelly. So we'll see what Urban Meyer does. Way too early prediction. I think he will struggle. I think he will find that the NFL is harder to win than college football. It's more cutthroat. One of Urban Meyer's greatest strengths is recruiting, and we'll see if what he does at Jacksonville. But I got to see it to believe it. I think
he can develop quarterbacks too, though. So
yeah, and
get Lawrence and.
But if, let's say, he drafts Justin Fields, I think it's going to be bad.
Yeah, he drafts Fields, and the Jets do a trade with the Patriots, and the Patriots get Trevor Lawrence at number 2.
No way. I like what you're doing, but let me push back. There's no way that's going to happen. You know why?
Why?
The Jets will never, and the Jets, if they did it, are stupid as hell. The Jets will never trade with New England and allow. The Jets had to suffer through how many years of Tom Brady? And now you're going to let them go get the next great quarterback? No way.
At this point, bro, desperate. I mean, you could get you could drop down and get Sam Darnold a weapon, whether it's Waddle or Devontae Smith, and then whatever New England offers you, a future first-round pick again, and then Stephon Gilmore and somebody else.
Well, this is what I would do if I'm the Jets. I don't need to move down. I know who I want at number 2, and it's not a quarterback. I'm taking Devontae Smith, number 2 overall.
Over Penei Sewell?
Yeah, well, yes. Because they drafted offensive linemen. They drafted Becton, right?
Oh, yeah, true. And Darnold does need weapons.
Yes, and the Jets are not all out on Sam Darnold. The Jets believe that Adam Gase was the problem, not Sam Darnold. The Jets are not out the door on Sam Darnold. They believe they can win with him. They're not ready to give up on him. And how better do you help Sam Darnold than to give him the best weapon in college football right now, and that's Devontae Smith from Bama. I mean, we just saw a national championship. That dude can ball.
But the shock of the world would be if Urban went with Fields over Lawrence, because that means Lawrence could drop into the top 5.
Well, let's say that does happen. The Jets will absolutely take Trevor Lawrence. After all I've said about Sam Darnold, if Trevor Lawrence is available at 2, they will absolutely take him.
I have to disagree with you on that, bro.
Really?
Yeah. I think the Jets would take Devontae Smith over Darnold, and Darnold would, fall to somewhere Lawrence would fall somewhere to like maybe a Detroit or somewhere in there.
I just don't see Trevor Lawrence falling. He, in my opinion, is the number 1 overall pick, clear as day. So
that's why Urban better get that out of his head, the Ohio State guy type stuff, because
absolutely.
Lawrence is your franchise quarterback, and he's going to be the future.
Yep. And I would put money on it. As of right now, I would put money on Trevor Lawrence goes number 1 to the Jags. I truly believe so. I think Urban Meyer's smart enough to make that decision. And then after that, we'll see when we get closer to the draft. But as of right now, I'm saying Devontae Smith number 2 to the Jets.
Yep, I agree. And then, like I said, it's deep this year, really deep.
Yeah, I can't wait for the draft. It's going to be so much fun. And speaking of the Jets, they got their next head coach, Robert Saleh, the defensive coordinator of the Niners, is now the head coach with the Jets. We'll see what staff he puts around him, but he's been brought in to fix the defense and turn that franchise around. Do you like the hire by the Jets?
Absolutely love the hire. I think Robert Saleh was one of the best coordinators in the NFL, and finally got his chance to be a head coach.
Yep, and sad news for the Lions fans, who they were all in on Robert Saleh. That's the guy they wanted. So now that he's gone to the Jets, we'll see who they hire. The Falcons have also hired head coach Arthur Smith, the offensive coordinator with the Titans. Interesting hire here. What do you think of Arthur Smith to the Falcons?
Yeah, I think it brings something new, a younger guy being able to be a head coach, and also maybe he can get lucky and get him a back like he had in Tennessee.
Yeah, and I think they look at what Arthur Smith did with Ryan Tannehill there in Tennessee and said maybe he can do that here with Matt Ryan.
Yeah, I mean, you have Matt Ryan as quarterback, you better do something.
Yeah, absolutely. So,
Ryan isn't a scrub, so.
Yeah, So, awesome, dude. This is a great episode. I feel like we had a lot of great content.
Yeah, I agree, man.
We brought it. You definitely brought it. You had some good takes. I liked it. It was fun.
Yeah, thanks for having me on again.
Yep. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment. We really appreciate the support and the listeners. You guys have been awesome and helping us grow this podcast. One day, this is going to be a huge podcast. One day, we're going to be, this is going to be the place to get your sports updated. It already is, to be honest. We just don't have the recognition yet. But it's coming. Stay with us and watch what happens. We got some great interviews on deck. Hoping next week for the divisional round recap, we'll have a big interview, big former player to help break down the playoffs. So stay tuned. Appreciate the support. Have a great week, guys. Peace out.